Welcome to Tyrannical House of Comedy. My name is Tyrant. It has been a while. It has been a long time. It's been about 3 weeks. I've been taking a bit of a sabbatical, taking some time off. I was actually at a summer camp where I was trying to. Well, what happened was I went and saw The Sound of Freedom, and it was a very good, very inspiring movie, and it inspired me to want to do more. So basically, what I did is I tried to infiltrate a summer camp and save children. And it was a conversion. It was a gay conversion therapy camp. And so I posed as a priest trying to convert the kids back from gay to straight by showing them Penthouse magazines and Playboys from the 90s, maybe a couple from the 80s if the kids like Bush, you know what I mean? And doing stuff like that. But I wasn't doing that. I was there. I was trying to save the kids so they could go and live out their gay or trans dreams, because I was recently visiting Wyoming, which is just, it's filled with trans and gays that are just hiding and trying to just live their lives out, but they're constantly being beaten and whipped by cowboys and white supremacists, the Ku Klux Klan, probably a couple people in the American Nazi Party that just try and round them up and lynch them. And it's bad. So I went there. I went to try and save some kids. Turns out it was just a summer camp for kids with Down syndrome. So I've spent the last 2 weeks in a jail in Wyoming. Still trying to figure things out. So that's all I'm going to talk about for now with that case until we get the the legal details figured out on that. And we're going to have fun today. So the things that I missed, we all missed, I'm sure, because no one knows about this until they've heard it from Tyrannical House of Comedy, THC. Let's smoke some weed. But apparently, this guy Travis King, a U.S. soldier stationed in South Korea. He got in trouble for some stuff and spent some time doing labor. So then they were like, "All right, we're gonna escort you back to the U.S. You got to get out of here." But instead, he decided to run across to the North Korean side. So he crossed the DMZ, the demilitarized zone, and decided that his best bet, even though he had already done his time and it was over with, and he was like a PFC. Well, he wasn't a PFC. That's private first class. He was private second class, which normally you're private first class if you're serving overseas. So chances are he got demoted because of what his assault charge. But like, so he already got his punishment. He wasn't getting court-martialed. I don't understand why he would run, but he ran across the North Korean border, which doesn't make any sense because I mean, South Koreans don't like black people. How do you think North Koreans would feel? They're all Korean there. There's like some white guys that they convinced that like, oh no, it's cool. We got water parks in Pyongyang, and there's people who go, there's influencers who go there like, oh, America's lying about everything going on in North Korea. It's actually pretty great here. They got water parks. Look at this. It's a carnival. Oh my God, look how happy these kids are. But then like if you go like 1 mile out of town, there's just like fucking a person eating a dead baby on the ground and like a mother crying next to it because she wanted to eat the baby, but the dude was stronger than her. Because the dude was the dad. That was the dad. But anyway, the story we'll go to is he was just going so fast. U.S. officials tried to piece together why soldier bolted into North Korea. Just one day before crossing into North Korea, Private Travis King texted his U.S. military handlers to let them know he had arrived at his gate location at Incheon, the major airport serving Seoul, sorry, Canada. No, I mean Korea. I did that on purpose. And was preparing to board a plane back to the U.S. I'm glad they just trusted him to his word. Like, yeah, no, just drop me off here. I'll make it. Don't you worry about it. I'm not gonna fucking catch an Uber to a tour of the DMZ and bolt across it. This is by CNN.com, the most trusted name in fake news. Written by Natasha Bertrand, Kylie Atwood, and Haley Brzezinski. Jesus, that's what happens when you have women write articles. It needs three of them to do the job of what one man could do. This is a comedy podcast. CNN. Just one day before crossing into North Korea, Private Travis King texted his military handlers to let them know he had arrived at his gate in Incheon, the major airports. God damn it, that was the fucking subtitle. King A junior enlisted soldier assigned to U.S. Forces Korea had faced assault charges in South Korea and was due to be removed from the U.S. military upon his return to Fort Bliss, Texas. Joke's on you. You can't fucking kick me out of the military if I'm being held captive in North Korea, probably being suspected of being a spy, and right now, to this day, 2 weeks later, still getting waterboarded by some Korean guy who does not believe that a black man would actually run and try and get refuge in North Korea. Um, but while he cleared customs and immigration, he did not get on the plane as scheduled on Monday, U.S. officials told CNN. His escorts could not accompany him all the way to the gate to verify that he had boarded. That's 9/11, you know? That's what happens. You know, first you had security and now you don't because some darn Muslims wanted to get on a plane. Radical ones, that's not normal because Muslims are good people. But you know, some bad people who just so happen to be Muslims stole some planes and ran them into some buildings, and now we can't have our military officials escort people onto planes, and now they run into Korea, which I get. Like, you're going back, you're like, you don't want to face this shame. I get that. I remember when I had to turn myself into jail, and instead of doing that, I ran into the woods and lived there for 3 days. After which, let's not talk about that. But let's just say I lived in the woods for 3 days, and it wasn't fun. And that's what's happening to him, but worse, because he's being waterboarded. King had checked into an American flight. Oh wait, no. Instead, he booked a tour for Tuesday. There we go. So they couldn't escort him, but instead he booked a tour for Tuesday with a private company of the Joint Security Area inside the Demilitarized Zone (DMZ), which divides North and South Korea. King had checked into an American Airlines flight bound to Dallas, but reported a missing passport and didn't board. He passed through all the security points up to the boarding gate, but he told the airline staff that his passport was missing. An official of the Incheon airport told CNN, Incheon airport told CNN. The airline staff then escorted him back outside the departure site, the official said, where his escorts had promptly left right when he went out of sight and are probably getting some sake at the local whatever that underage strip club. It's not underage for them, just for us. That's how it works out there. I actually don't know what the age consent is in South Korea. I know in Japan it's like 13 or something, but that's besides the point. But it makes those panty vending machines legal. Legal. On Monday, the American Airlines flight left Incheon at 6:36 p.m., according to the airline. He came back to the departure side of the airport at 7:02 p.m., the official said. American Airlines declined to comment on the incident to CNN. When the passengers have emergency situations where they cannot board the plane after passing through the immigration process, they must reverse the procedure under the immigration office's approval. There's a picture of King. Look at him. He looks good. He looks like a strapping young lad, not up to any trouble. Not a double agent for the Chinese that had to flee to North Korea in order to run in to get connected with his Chinese handler and escape probably being in the deepest black site this world's ever known after he's probably, I mean, because honestly, this is either a complete, like a huge hoax by the fucking US government to try and get a spy inside of North Korea, which doesn't make sense to send a black guy in at all, because like I said, they don't like black people. Koreans, they don't. They're naturally racist. I mean, if you look at what happened after fucking Rodney King, a black man, was beat near to death by white police officers. And what did the black community do? They just started fucking murdering Asians. Beating and murdering Asians. I'm just saying, you think the Asian community remembers that? I think not, but they never liked each other. While on a tour inside the DMZ, the next day, King inexplicably made a run for it across the demarcation line into North Korea. An eyewitness on the same tour and U.S. officials familiar with the case told CNN. Unlike most of the heavily fortified zone, which is 160 miles long and 2.5 miles wide, the actual borderline between North and South Korea inside the JSA does not have a physical barrier. Yeah, you can just run across them, the motherfucker. King at first tried to enter Panmuk Hall, which is a North Korean facility in the joint security area, one of the U.S. officials said, but the front door was locked, so he ran to the back of the building, at which point he was hurried into a van and driven away by North Korean guards, the official said. Get him! Dong! A soldier in the South Korean side yelled. Oh, God. According to the eyewitness, Sarah Leslie, but it was too late. He was going so fast, and we were so close to the border that he was gone by then, Leslie added. It wasn't until later on Tuesday when King failed to show up, probably should have said show up, at Fort Bliss, that the U.S. military first realized he was missing. South Korean immigration officials also confirmed that to the U.S. that King never boarded the plane, the U.S. official told CNN. Wow, what a fucking enthralling story. I really want to know what happened to this guy because, like, I mean, it does seem like he was probably a Chinese spy. Like, he was spying for the Chinese. I mean, look, China's got bread. You know what I mean? If you're a black man, what do you want? Bread. I mean, if you're an American, what do you want? Bread. You know what I mean? And you join the army, you're trying to serve your country. People are shitting on you. Everyone's racist. Obama fucking didn't live up to his promises. He turned out to just be another fucking white ass warmonger. You know, as soon as a black man gets power, he suddenly turns right. Black. Am I right? Fucking. This is a comedy podcast. Thank you. Um, Officials across the U.S. government are now trying to piece together what might have motivated King, a U.S. national, to willingly and without prior authorization cross into one of the most hostile countries on earth. Come on, he was either a fucking spy or the U.S. The CIA or something had him do that, because it makes no sense to have him do that because, again, they don't get along and they wouldn't trust him. So either that, or he was already turned out by the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, or some other force, maybe the Russians, someone, some enemy force. And he was like, fuck, what if they know if I get there, I'm going to end up in a black site. So instead, he fucking dips out, goes on a tour, goes across the zone, gets in, they get him there, and he's like, look, I'm a double agent for the Chinese Communist Party. You need to contact Xi Jinping and tell him Daddy's got the documents. They're just shoved deep, deep inside my colon. And then they kill him, they fucking gut him, they pull the documents out, they send it to Xi Jinping, and he sends $100. Cash money. I worry about him, frankly. Army Secretary Christine Warmuth told the Aspen Security Forum on Thursday. I know everyone here remembers what happened when Otto Warmbier was taken into custody by the North Koreans, and I think treated brutally. Obviously, it makes me very, very concerned that Private King is in the hands of the North Korean authorities. I worry about how they may treat him, so we want to get him back. Yeah, bitch, we got questions for you. We got fucking questions. And trust me, we're holding your fucking baby mama hostage. Your baby mama in a black side. We got your baby mama under a waterboard. We got Dan Crenshaw and Ron DeSantis waterboarding your goddamn baby mama in Guantanamo Bay right now. Trying to get the votes. Trying to get that vote. Warmbier was imprisoned by the North Koreans in 2016 after entering the country as part of a guided tour. North Korea released him back to the U.S. in June 2017, but he was in a vegetative state and died shortly thereafter. Damn North Koreans not treating their tourists good. We should fucking send a missionary send some missionaries there to teach them a lesson about Christianity and stuff. On Wednesday, the White House said it was still working to determine exactly where King is and what condition he is in. We're still gathering all the facts, and it is still very early on, Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said. The administration has and will continue to actively work to ensure his safety and the return of Private King to us and to his family. Us first, and then we will send him back to his family, much like the North Koreans did with a vegetative state after we've gotten all the secrets we could out of him. She said the administration was working with the government of South Korea along with Sweden on the matter. Sweden generally represents U.S. interests in North Korea because U.S. and North Korea have no diplomatic ties. And we send the giant Swedes because they intimidate the tiny little North Koreans. I don't know, I think I went like, I don't know what I did. It wasn't an accent. The edibles have fired off. The U.S. military has tried reaching out directly to the North Korean government to resolve the issue, officials said, but they still have not yet received any response. The U.S. believes he is still in North Korean custody, but they do not have any details on his well-being or whether he is alive. King made a run across the DMZ in the joint security area, was picked up by the North Koreans, and we've had no contact at this point. Admiral John Aquilino, commander of the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command. It sounds like he should be in command of South America. But he said that to the Aspen Security Forum on Tuesday, this company podcast. But we're still doing our investigation to find out exactly what happened. Excuse me. So he faced some assault charges in South Korea. So a week before going over the border, he was released from a detention center. He did 50 days doing labor. Like I said, he already did his punishment. It's from an incident in October 2022 when he pushed and repeatedly punched a dude in the face in a club in Mapugoi, Seoul, South Korea, according to a court document from the Seoul Western District Court. He was accused of assault in September and was consequently transferred to the U.S. military police, but those charges were ultimately dropped. Maybe I'm just used to American politics and like the whole House of Cards is all about the Clintons. Like it's basically just about Bill and Hillary Clinton. That's pretty fucking obvious to me. So for me, it's like this seems like a game of fucking chess to try and get this dude over the border. Like either him in the Chinese Communist Party or him in the CIA or NSA or whoever the fuck is in control at this point. Fucking Klaus Schwab or, I mean, according to Kanye, the Jews, which I don't believe. I don't believe that. I do not believe that. Before his time in the detention facility, King had been found guilty during a military court martial hearing in South Korea. Korea. I did fuck up on that. He did. Sorry, I was checking. I did fuck up on that. A defense official told CNN King had been demoted in rank, the official said. See, I was right about that part, though. I was right. He was PFC, and now he's getting court-martialed as a private second class. His mom is like, what the hell? But she's wearing diamond rings that he sent her. But here's another story that Travis King actually told officials he wouldn't return to America nearly a year before fleeing to North Korea. After skipping his daily formation while serving at Camp Bophias in South Korea in September, King told Army officials he would not return to post or America. He might have just had schizophrenia. I might be wrong about him being a spy. He might have just had a schizophrenia. This is New York Post, Matthew Sadeka. Like I said, 3 women, what 1 man could do. All I'm saying. American soldier Travis King has shown signs of possibly defecting from the Army nearly a year before he fled to North Korea, telling military officials while serving in South Korea that he would not return to his post or America. Or he could have just been drunk or on acid or on mushrooms or on ecstasy or on any type of drug. The 23-year-old was first soldier detected to defect to North Korea when he bolted across the border. Blah, blah, we did that. We don't know what's going on. Weeks earlier, he runs across, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so here we go. So he skipped out on daily formation and took off to a nearby city. When the base managed to reach King, who served as cavalry scout, he refused to return to post or America. King was later found in the city of, I'm not going to try and pronounce that, roughly 25 miles southeast of Camp Boniface. Speaking to the Aspen Security Forum in Aspen, Colorado on Friday, U.S. Secretary Antony Blinken made his first public statements about King. We're very concerned and, of course, about his well being. We'd like to know his whereabouts. What did this cunt tell him? I don't know, he's in that building right now. No, he's in China. Travis King showed signs of defecting. There, look at that young, strapping man. Come on, he doesn't look like Chinese at all. We've communicated to North Korea seeking that information. I don't have anything more at this point. Asked whether Pyongyang might torture King, Blinken said, he's being waterboarded as we speak. No, that's not the quote. The quote is, there are certainly concerns based on what we've seen in the past and the way North Korea has treated those it's detained. So yes, he could be being waterboarded well electrocuted, is what Antony Blinken is saying. King, a private second class, was scheduled to return. Yeah, we know that. And there he is with his glasses on, and he still had his dreads. This is before he joined the army. U.S. officials said King made a deliberate decision to enter North Korea, but have yet to explain how he managed to outsmart his handlers at Incheon Airport. We explained that. His handlers are retarded and wanted to go have sex with underage Korean girls and sniff their panties while fucking taking advantage of... I don't know. King, who reportedly shouted, ha ha ha, during his mad dash into North Korea, not knowing that he was going to get brutally tortured for the rest of his days and end up a vegetable and sent back to fucking America as a fucking corpse. Yeah, no. He faces dishonorable discharge from the army over his conviction, a defense court said. The soldier previously had been fined like $4,000. King's uncle, Carl Gates, said that his nephew has been breaking down over the February deaths of Gates's 6-year-old son. So when my son was on life support and when my son passed away, Gates said, Travis started being reckless and crazy when he knew my son was about to die. And now he's about to die after he ends up on life support in a vegetative state. Oh, God, how history has a way of rhyming. Well, poor fella.